In today's video, we're going to walk you through how to set up the audience segment section when setting up a new campaign inside Google Ads. And this is part of a Google Ads course we're putting together for service-based businesses. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos on this playlist so far, feel free to have a look at those once you watch this video. And also keep an eye out for the daily videos we'll be posting each day that goes into all of the steps required to run a successful Google Ads campaign from start to finish. Now, once you get to the audience segment section of the campaign settings, when you're going through your campaign setup, the first thing you just want to double check more than anything else, and this is the most important step, is that you have your targeting setting set to observation mode. The reason why you don't want to go with targeting is that if you add some specific audience segments here and you choose the targeting option, then you could be greatly limiting the amount of traffic that you're eligible to receive, because a lot of the potential customers for what you offer might not fall in within that specific audience segment. And especially with a brand new campaign, we want to be able to get as much impressions and data as possible early on. So that's really why we want to go with observation mode at the very beginning. But what you can do instead of going with targeting is selecting observation mode, and you can still select as many audience segments here as you like. And let's just say, because we're using a landscaping campaign for this example of the campaign that we're setting up for this, you can add these audience segments here, for example, homeowners, landscape design, home and garden services, lawn care, lawn and garden maintenance, home improvement, home and garden, and so on. So you can go through the full list of audience segments and find anything that's even remotely related to what you offer. Because even if it's not fully related, it doesn't matter as long as you have it set to observation mode, and that's the key thing to be aware of. And you can also go to browse here and look through the different demographics. So you can select different audience segments, for example, whether they're parents, marital status, education. So for example, you mightn't choose current college students because it's usually going to be homeowners that you want to target if you're running, for example, any kind of home improvement campaign. But you can select all of these different segments here and gather data on each. And then once you're actually running your campaign, you might notice that some specific audience segments perform better than others. And what we also do in a lot of the campaigns we set up, we don't actually add any audience segments at first, because we just want to keep it in observation mode and simply just get as much traffic as possible. But then we can always consider adding audience segments later. But equally, you can add as many of these as you like as you go through this step of the campaign settings process. But as long as you have it selected to observation mode, you'll be good to go. And then once you actually have some data inside your campaign, you can go into audiences inside Google Ads and see if any of these audience segments are performing really well. And then you can always choose to target them if you see that it's performing well. But it makes more sense to do so once you actually have data on which audience segments are performing best. So I hope this video gave you clarity on how to go about the audience segments section of your campaign settings when it comes to setting up a new Google Ads campaign. Now, if you do have any questions about audience segments or any other aspect of Google Ads at all, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you do like this Google Ads related content as well, feel free to subscribe to the channel and have a look at the other videos we posted in this playlist so far that goes through all of the steps we've had to take up until now to set up a successful campaign. And we'll also be posting videos each day on all of the rest of the steps that are involved in setting up a full campaign from start to finish. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you inside the next one.